Welcome, YC.
Well,
Let's start with this. When I look at you, look at your experience, all I see is someone who's successful on every level. You grew up in Taiwan, you went to one of the top universities in Taiwan, and then you went to Carnegie Mellon, which is one of the best universities in the world. And you work in Motorola, Microsoft, and then you just decided you want to give it all up and start doing this thing called startup. So I was wondering what life experience that built you up to the point where you want to jump into, this crazy thing called startup.
oh man, after 8 years working in Microsoft, Microsoft is a great company. As you can see, their stock price just went skyrocketing. And it's all good to work in Microsoft. My first stop was in Microsoft hardware team. We built the first version of Surface, the Surface Book, Surface tablet that you can get from the market today. We started it. And then I moved on to the Windows team. It's all good. I spent some time there to build the Photos app and build the device center. It's great, it's a great working environment. Everyone is working in this big organization as a team to achieve the same goal. It's very, inspiring. But there's ones that I got a book from library. I like to read every morning. The book's title is Leaving Microsoft to Change the World. And so, yeah, and that's really, triggered my thinking of, what is gonna be my next step. Working in a big organization is all good, but then I feel like there is something in my mind that really kind of whispering in my ear and said, hey, you got to do something different, right? So day to day, I'm pixel pushing in the team. I mean, it's all good, right? We pursue the perfection in big organization, but there's some other problems that I want to solve. And I feel like if I don't do this, I will be regretted one day, after my grandkids sitting on my lap. I wouldn't have any kind of interesting story that I can tell them. So that really is the trigger, encouraged me to move forward and, start to explore, those unknowns.
How often do you reflect and look into the future?
Every day, I've been thinking about, this company, how we can be different, what are those pain points, customers' pain points that we haven't solved. Every day I work closely with our customer service team. I check every ticket that's from our customers. I try to uncover all those issues or pain points, or even questions that our customers is asking. That give us, way to say this is a proof of thought for us to look into the next step, the future of this company. So that is like everyday common practice, 24/7, 365.
Do you have the same approach in your personal life? Think forward and figure out what's missing in your life, what type of story you want to tell to your grandkids, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, by the way, I haven't had my grandkids yet. So, it's funny, like every weekend, usually Saturday night, I would have a movie night with my kids. I have 2 kids. And, I try to pay attention to the movie. But oftentimes I just, my mind just went way somewhere else, even though I'm in front of the movie theaters or in front of the TV. My mind is still with the company. I'm thinking about the product, thinking about the customers. That's my personal life, how I collide my personal life with my professional life. I wouldn't say it's tiring. Like that is what we are, right? As a different animal, right? Really, like startup founders, they are very different species, right? They constantly enjoy the pressures, and they live through the pressures. That is our lifestyle.
Precisely. Something you said piqued my interest. You mentioned when you're in Microsoft, you were working very diligently with the team, and the whole team were pursuing perfection for your customer. Do you think that pursuit of perfection come with a cost?
100%. There's always a price tag when you try to achieve from, like, say, 95% to 99%. Even there's 4% difference, you have to spend like 90% of your efforts to push that limit. I mean, perfection is something that built in as a designer. Like my background is a UX designer, and that is what we are trained for. Like we constantly looking for, small defects in the products, through the entire customer journeys. What are the areas that we can be more, smooth? When we build the front end UI user interface, we look at those areas where there's, misaligned. Those are little things that we focus on in the daily basis when I was in Microsoft. But I found that it's very different when I work in a startup company. Like when I am a founder, I don't have the luxury to look at the pixel level, right? I mean, I still want to. It's not that I don't want to. It's just that my time, I only have 24 hours. Even if I don't sleep, that's the amount of time that I have. Sometimes I have to spend more time on bigger pictures, right? So as a founder, what is probably the most difficult job in the world is because we not only need to pay attention to detail, but also need to look at the big pictures. So you have to have the capability and the flexibility to look at the macro view and the micro view.
Could you describe a little bit more how you would look at the bigger picture, and how would you narrow it down into, the micro lens?
When I use my macro lens, I tend to spend a lot of time focus on, the trend, right? Granted, we are just a startup. Like we are not Elon Musk. We don't have an amount of resource like Apple does. So we have to, keep an eye on what is technology today, right? There is, generative AI coming up. It's already booming. The speed of iteration is phenomenal. And we have to pay attention to those trends. Like things will be changed from ground up, right? Since that, that we assume we will spend a lot of time and resource to work down, will probably be resolved by generative AI in seconds. And so without having those macro view in place, we probably, missed in this kind of chaos system. So I think it's important to understand the overall technology trend and what's going on in the world. There is a war coming up, war going on in Ukraine. Things may be different. Like the way the resource, the capital is moving may be different. The new president is going to be our new leader in the United States. And what is that gonna create the difference for the technology industry?
What would you say the percentage of your time was on the macro, and how much percentage was on the micro?
At the beginning, I spent a lot of time on detail. I would say 80%. When I started, it really started, my product, right? So we are trying to solve the property management problems. There are just so many disconnected dots when we talk about, manage real estate. And that really came from my personal problem. When I was in Microsoft, I had I have two kids, young kids, and I have to manage my investment properties, and I also need to work in Microsoft as a senior design lead. And so it was a very demanding job. So there are times that I have to, leave the office and went for the investment property and meet the potential prospect or tenants, or even work with contractors to fix up the property. So I know there's a pain point, and so I was trying to solve my own pain point, and so that is what what happened at the very beginning. I know there's something that I need to work on. So I spent a lot of time working on focusing on that specific problem. But then later on, when I have a product, or at least have a proof of concept, I start to realize, hey, this is not just my own problem, right? I found that there are a lot of people have a similar issue. So I thought this could be a great solution for a bigger group of people. From that point on, I start to spend a bit more time on the overall trend, technology trend, overall ecosystem. That is the time when I realized, hey, if we are looking at the entire ecosystem, we're just playing a small role in this ecosystem. How can we? It's great to start from there, but starting from there, what is going to be our next step? How can we enrich this ecosystem and make it more healthier as the next step?
Great. That's a perfect segue into your company. Tell us about lubn.
We started early. So this company, lubn, we are building a virtual real estate concierge platform by harnessing the power of AI and access control. Our goal is to streamline the real estate management operations for property managers and real estate agents. Started from 2016, bootstrap with two founders, me and my co-founders working together. We both came from Carnegie Mellon. I built the first prototype, 3D printed. I wired the board by myself, set up the backend in the cloud. And starting from there, I started to socialize this concept. We worked really hard with a very small team, only 2 people plus few contractors, for at least 5 years. Starting 2 years ago, we raised our first institutional round, our seed. Now we have 9 people. Our R&D team is based in Taiwan. We have a team in Philippines. We are expecting to grow the team to 12 people by Q2 2025. So our product, we have a proprietary smart key box connected to the mobile network, and we also build a PMS, property access management system, to help property managers manage different people entering the property at different times, focusing on those property manager managing properties for commercial reason. Our product and system is not designed for individual residents. We are designing for management companies that requires some sort of scales, right? So if I only need to manage 1 property, that would probably be okay. I just go there every time. But if I need to manage up to 100 properties, then scale will be an issue. Like, how can I scale up without, spending, sacrificing my personal time?
Right.
That's the problem we are trying to solve.
Earlier, you mentioned you were building the prototype by yourself. You wired the board, and that was for the key box.
Yeah, that was for the key box. That was the prototype, and then we spent some money to self-pocket it, really, to build the first version of the key box. And then that failed because no one was able to build a mobile network connected key box. At that time, it was only 3G network. The power consumption is out of control. The device can only stand by for a week. For our V1, that is, good try, but but that's not gonna cut it for the market, for the customer's expectation.
Mm.
So we raise a little bit. We generate the second version. That is the time when we feel like, oh, this second version will probably be okay. So we rolled out the second version, and then we speed up the software development. Now I would say we have pretty good PMS.
What was the major upgrade between the first version and the second version?
The major upgrade really is on the fundamental technology. For the first version, only 3G network was available, and then we work with AT&T here in the States. AT&T started to roll out LTE networks supporting IoT devices. If you understand, if you have heard about the IoT space, this is called nb-iot space. And so the good thing about nb-iot is, this type of device will consume less power. It will have longer latency. It can only, pass a smaller data package, which is perfect for our applications. So the difference between V2 and V1 is V2, our device can stand by for almost 6 months. In comparison with V1, that's like 7 days.
6 months.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Longer battery life and smaller packets.
Yeah.
Transmission.
And that's really on the device side. In the last 2 years, I would say we spent a lot of effort on the software design. So we are trying to build this vertical integration. So the software side, we offer a lot of automations. We have built virtual agents. Basically, it's a Siri, but designed for real estate. So all the prospects who are interested in your property will be able to interact with this virtual agent and ask specific questions about this property. This virtual agent will be able to respond in natural language, answer all the questions that you have according to these properties, and even ask prospecting questions on behalf of the managers.
And the virtual agent also work for other type of key box, not just yours.
So the software today, it's good point. Today or yesterday, our software only work with our proprietary smart key box. But moving forward, actually, yes, it's already out. Our software today will be able to support more than just our smart key box. If you use a traditional key box with a punch code, you can use our software to manage the access. You can use our software to manage your prospects and use the virtual agents to get the insight from your potential tenants or buyer.
That sounds like there's a huge plan behind it. I want to talk to you about what you said earlier about how you were working at the Microsoft and trying to manage your investment property, and you realized there was a problem or a pain point, and that led you to the key box. Could you tell us a little bit about that journey? How did you discover the problem? How did you find out there's even a bigger audience that have the same problem?
So what happened was, after you work in a big corporate like Microsoft, you'll probably have the motivation, right, to invest somewhere else, right? So you want to either invest startups, or you want to invest other like real estate, maybe would be a good investment target. So I invested a rental property, and that property was located about an hour away from where I live. And so every time when there is a contractor who needs to access the properties, I either need to leave the office in Microsoft and drive an hour to that rental property. Or even if this happened during the weekend, I will have to sacrifice, say, my kids' soccer game or my daughter's piano recital, and then I have to go meet this person at the property. Granted, I mean, I can definitely install a smart key, smart door locks there. But then I found that smart door lock isn't really the solution for me because I have no idea when. I have no control over who can access this property during that specific time, and I have no idea when this person get into the properties. So I thought that frustration. I mean, it's already 2000 at that time, 2000 almost 2020, right? So this shouldn't happen, right? We should be able to have a way to solve this problem. So I was trying to figure it out, if there is a way that we can solve this problem. So I thought about, hey, what if we can, because for rental property, you don't really have a Wi-Fi hookup, right? A lot of time when the property is empty, you yank the Wi-Fi, and so there's no connectivities at the property. So I thought, wouldn't it be great if we can connect to the mobile network, like our cell phone? Like if there is some sort of device at the door front that can tell me when this person enter and when this person leave the properties. So that will give me a peace of mind when I manage this property remotely. So that was what happened when I started. Being able to manage remotely 24/7 would be a great solution for me. And then once I built the first prototype, I used the prototype I demonstrated to a bunch of friends. And then they all come back to me. They said, hey, I have similar pain points. If you have built this, let me know. I would love to give it a try.
None of you were able to find something on the market?
Even today, you will be surprised. There's all the key box on the market. It's only like the best is like Bluetooth key box. You have to install an app as a Bluetooth device. You have to install an app and pair with the device, and then the log will be saved on the visitor's phone and passed to the cloud, so the manager would know when this person accessed the key box. But none of the device today on the market can provide the real-time data connected to the cloud by itself. And so that creates a lot of problem. Like it's not perfect, right? So Bluetooth key box, it doesn't really give me a real-time data, like who actually, I mean, it will probably give you the information in terms of who actually accessed the key box, but I have no idea when the key was returned. That's something that is critical. And after we talk to our customers, one of the advantage that we have as a mobile network enabled smart key box is that manager will be able to remotely release the key from their manager app. For anyone who didn't schedule ahead of time, they can go there in front of the key box, and the manager will be able to release from remote. Bluetooth key box would not be able to do so because Bluetooth require a certain amount of range in proximity of the device.
How long did you spend on just showing your prototype to friends?
Very short time, I would say within 6 months, we have collected enough feedback from the networks in our circle to understand, this may be, we may hit something, right? We may discover something that people have forgotten, right? If you have a solution that is not perfect, people would probably live with it, and they wouldn't think too far in terms of how we can get a better experience. And from that point on, we found that once this smart key box connected to the network, there are so many things that we can do and there are so many different customer experiences that we can enable. One example would be, hey, as soon as this visitor check into the properties, can we kick off the virtual agent? So virtual agent will be able to respond differently and answer, even ask prospective questions according to the context of the visitors. Being able to have this contextual information is really critical for us to provide next level customer service, customer experience.
When you were showing the prototype, you still had your job at Microsoft, right?
The 3D printed prototype, yes, I had it done when I was in Microsoft, but then after, it's called moonlighting, right? So Microsoft support moonlighting. They have moonlighting policies. That's what we did.
Can you explain what's moonlighting?
So moonlighting really is I think different company may have different policy, but in Microsoft, if you are an employee, you are okay to do your own project when you are off work, as long as you're not using Microsoft facilities, you're not using Microsoft computer, and you're using your own private time to develop your own hobby or projects, things that you like to do. That's called moonlighting.
When was the point and what happened during that time that you decided, okay, this key box idea is perfect for me, and I'm willing to quit my job and jump into the startup full time?
I wouldn't say it's perfect. It's far from perfect when we have the first prototype. That's like it's a 3D printed mock-up. You can easily throw a rock and destroy it. I would say, as far as I can remember, we only spent like three months maybe to moonlight and build the first prototype and demonstrate it to a friend of mine in our circles. And at that point, it's not about the perfection of this prototype. It's about, do you want to invest a bit more in this project, or do you want to invest the rest of your life in a big corporate like Microsoft? Like what are you gonna do, right? So at the end of the day, it's me deciding how I'm gonna live my life.
I think that's very admirable. And I was just looking through your LinkedIn profile, and I saw you worked at Microsoft for 9 years.
Yeah.
And 9 years and 4 months, something like that. My natural question was, why didn't you hit the 10-year mark and then leave?
Microsoft, they would give out the trophy like for 3 years. I think it's 3 years or 5 years, and then I think 10 years, 15, 20. So they give this crystal trophy. I have collected one, and I have collected a bunch of we call it patent cube. They will also reward you a patent cube whenever you contribute it in a patent.
Nice.
And so I've collected that. Like I don't think I need. I don't feel like my life need to be defined by those. I mean, it's great. I appreciate it to have those trophies. It's a good decorations of my bookshelf. Kind of reminding me like how much time I spend in the corporate. But I feel like one thing that I really feel could be one of the drivers was that there is, no matter how hard I work in big organization in Microsoft, I don't feel like the amount of work that I put in today will affect the stock price tomorrow. Right? That Like I don't feel like I have that kind of impact. I mean, if I would be a VP, senior VP in Microsoft, will probably impact the stock price. But I feel like the contribution is not big enough. Trophy means the time you spend in this organization doesn't necessarily mean or equal to the impact that you have in this organization or to the world, really.
Were you always looking for, I want to say, like meaning to your life? Were you always looking for something you feel passionate about, or things that you feel more purposeful?
I always ask me this, like since when I was a kid, I'm a rebel, really. Like my parents likes us to be a doctor. There's only a few jobs that you can do from my parents' perspective. So they asked me, hey, you got to study hard, right? So they didn't ask like, what is my interest? They asked, what is your score? Every time when I open up this, the textbook, I would feel like, why am I spending my time and life consuming the knowledge that doesn't make sense to me?
And you also had to memorize those things.
And I have to memorize those things.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know. Yeah, it's just like motivation to me is really important. Like if I don't have motivations, I wouldn't spend, like I wouldn't give my whole heart to this subject. On the flip side, if I'm motivated, like if I know there's something will be different, like if I do this either to the greater good, a group of people, or I can change something, then I would be really passionate about this thing. You didn't ask the list of questions that you sent me.
I was just
you went totally off track, which is great.
I went with the flow. Yeah, I today I just feel like I want to try something different. I want to ask the question in a different way, but still hitting those points. And because this is the last episode, so I really wanted to be, a little bit special. So when you were talking about your passion, what motivates you, and you're searching for meaning every day, I just feel like, wow, I can relate to that right now. You spent a few months on the Moonlight project, and then you decided to say, okay, now it's the time to go full time to solve a problem of your own. Was there any assumptions that you made were wrong?
We assume once we have this great idea, it will be easier for us to raise funds. We assume when we have the first version of the product, it will be easier for us to raise a bigger fund. We assume that when we have the first paying customers, it will be easier for us to raise funds. None of these are true. There's no overnight success, right? So, like we just keep grinding. We solve one problem, and then we found more problem to solve, really. And so, first, how do you communicate your idea? And then we assume that, everyone who has to control the access would need our product. And we assume that, maybe Airbnb hosts would be our target customers. And then we realize, no, it's not our target customers. We assume that we should go after consumer market. And then we realize that's not the market that we should go after. There are a lot of assumptions that we made at the very beginning. Most of the time, those assumptions are convenient, really. Like we are making the assumption that we feel that is convenient at our given stage, at our given resource. And we kind of ignore the fact that because we fear, like there's always fear, right? When you are standing in front of those unknowns, you tend to grab things that you are familiar with, you feel comfortable with. You tend to ignore the fact that you would probably need to spend more effort to achieve something that you haven't really experienced before.
What was the fear?
That's just that human nature. What are the fears? I would say, so we have a hardware device. We thought once we have this device came out, we would be able to, everyone will be banging the door and asking for the product. None of that happened, right? None of that, because no one knows us, right? And we thought, maybe what we should do is we should just list our product on Amazon and we'll be set, right? So people would be able to buy our product from Amazon, and from there we'll go big. No, none of that happened. Once our product is listed on Amazon, we start to understand, oh shoot, there are a lot of communications that we need to have between our product and customers. Like, how does the customers understand this product? Because our product is a new product, new interactions. It doesn't have the passcode that people use to punch, right? People feel like scared when they need to adapt a new model. Have we communicated that to our customers? No, we haven't. And there is subscriptions that goes with this device because it connects to the AT&T network. We assume that people would just go ahead and pay us the subscriptions. That's not happening because that happened, but after a while, right? It didn't happen at the beginning. People still have the mindset, hey, I'm buying a key box, I'm not buying the service behind it, right? So you would be able to buy the key box on Amazon, those analog key box, and you can walk away with like, put down $20 and then $30, you can walk away. And it spent a lot of time for us to perfect our communication with our customers, to help them understand, oh, this is not just a device. What's behind this device is a very thoughtful services, very thoughtful systems that will help you manage all of your properties in scale. And you're paying your subscription not because none of the software features or real-time data is free, right? Like, there's always a cost behind it. Like, how are we going to communicate this to our customers? At the very beginning, we assumed that it's a no-brainer to us, but it's not the case to our customers. So that's a lot of assumptions, a lot of mistakes, a lot of painful moments. When what we call moment of truth. Like, once you have product, you release it to the market, everyone will jump in to give you a different feedback, different questions, and start there. We start to perfect.
When you're putting the key box on Amazon, I assume you were still going for the B2C market. You mentioned that B2C, it was actually not the way to go.
Not to the product that we are building. So
exactly.
I mean, Amazon is still a very good platform for us to learn, I would say, right? It at the beginning, we didn't know like who are our target customers, like whether should we go after Airbnb hosts, should we go after real estate agents, should we go after mom and pop investors who manage maybe 2-3 properties? Like, those are the questions we didn't have answer. So like, if I would rationalize our strategy, having our product listed on Amazon get us the opportunity to kind of see this product to all those potential customers and then bounce back to us to help us learn who is actually our target customers. And the reason why I said consumer market isn't our first priority is because as a startup, we only have finite resource. Each individual customers, they have their own requests, they have their own needs to be fulfilled. As a startup, it's really hard to provide a good services to one-to-many kind of model. We feel like it's a better model if we can focus on big enterprise customers and we serve them well, understand their need, and build a product geared toward their need. Amazon is the approach of hunting flies, but B2B would be an approach of hunting an elephant or whale. So that is the difference.
You kind of use Amazon, the consumer market, as a seed for awareness, conversations, and then use that feedback first to iterate on your product, but at the same time trying to look for your real customer. Could you tell us what is your ideal customer profile now, and how did you get to that point?
After we launched V2, like it's been 2 years out.
2 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 years out. And we feel like we should go after two customers. One is real estate agent. Two is commercial real estate management company.
Mm-hmm.
Real estate agent, they have their specific need. A lot of people are looking for smarter solutions. If you look at real estate market in the States, particularly, you'd be surprised. There are many like proptech companies. I mean, there are some, but if you compare proptech with fintech or other area, like proptech is surprisingly underdeveloped. Right, I would say. We thought there should be more solutions, or better solutions for real estate agents who needs to manage multiple properties from time to time and move on to a different list of properties from time to time.
Mm.
So our solution is perfect for these target customers because we have a standalone network, and it doesn't require a prospect to install an app. So you, as a seller agents, you instantly expand your market pool. So you will be able to reach out to more prospects than individual agents. So that's number one. Number two is commercial real estate. If you walk around in the downtown area in the States, in any city, when you see a store, you can see the commercial real estate doors. There's no way you can install a smart door locks there. But people still need to manage the commercial real estate. Commercial real estate is also very complex because the owner of the store is different from the person who ran the store, and is different from the staff who entered the store and operate in the daily basis. So there are so many different parties involved, and they need to be managed. And so that's why today we have a lot of commercial real estate companies use our product as enterprise customers.
Was there a customer discovery process, or did you just wake up one day and say, okay, I'm going to go for the real estate agent and the management companies?
Yeah, I would say it's a process. It's a learning process. I have to be honest, like at the beginning, we are really just throwing spaghettis on the wall and see which one sticks. Really, that's what we were doing. And then I mean, it's probably not the best approach, but it's one approach. It helps us understand, to learn from different customers and their behaviors and their needs. And then, yeah, one day we feel like, given the resource that we have, it's probably a better idea to go to a specific customer instead of everyone.
I mean, at the beginning, we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah.
So get the ball rolling, do something. It's better than sitting on
Sitting
your
there, yeah.
exactly sitting on your fear. How did you get past that? Because I remember you said at the beginning you have a lot of fear, so you just want to do something that you know. And I assume that going from Amazon to actually approaching your real customer was a jump, a leap of faith that you need to have. How did you get past that fear?
I mean, it's all about the price, right? So you realize these customers is not gonna give you the amount of revenue you will probably have to jump, because simply put, you can generate more revenue from these customers because you deliver the solutions that fits their need. Conquer fear is difficult, but it's just something that we have to get used to it.
The founders, you mean?
But the founders, yes.
How did you get your first customer?
How did I get my first customers? Yeah, I mean, I put it on Amazon, and then I mean, that was the first version. I feel embarrassed. Like I put the first version on Amazon just to prove that there's this type of product has market. And so I remember that was like Christmas, maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago now, for the first version, and someone ordered it. Like, wow. I was surprised. They ordered this product. It's not mature. It can only stay at the door for about a week, and then it's done. But that gave us the evidence that this product is something that people is looking for.
Yeah.
Eventually, we refund these customers, but
yeah. What did you get? Did you get some feedback? What did you talk about?
No. We just refunded because we feel like we closed the listing after we sold maybe 2 or 3 products. Because I think that's enough for us to demonstrate this type of product has the market.
Okay.
We just need some evidence to give us enough confidence to move on to the next release.
Right.
And so that was the first customer. It's not great. It's kind of embarrassing in a way.
Right. Right.
But that is one thing. The second thing that I think would be more meaningful to us is, would people pay for the subscription for the hardware? Right? We kept thinking that we are, at the very beginning, we kept thinking that we are building the hardware. We realized that was, again, a wrong assumption. Like, we are not building a hardware. We are building the software. We just need the hardware to provide us the data. That's what we are building. And so once we start to communicate better to our customers, said that, hey, you are buying this device with a packaged software that will help you do better at your management job. I think that worked. At the beginning, we didn't have enough confidence. We sell each device with 12 months free subscription. You believe it? Wow. 12 months free subscription. And after 12 months, people needs to pay for the subscription. We were surprised that after 12 months, I mean, there were a lot of churn for sure. But then we start to see people, subscribe for the services, and that's very encouraging because, proof that this model works.
Was that the proudest moment of your startup
That
journey?
was the moment I brought my family, my wife and kids to the Taiwan for a big feast.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that.
And
Do
then
you?
the next one would be the first enterprise customers we onboard.
Wow.
The first enterprise customer was the commercial real estate management company. They order bulk, so it was a bulk order. So that was like very encouraging too.
Right. Yeah. No, I can imagine. You must be ecstatic.
Yeah,
It must be awesome.
after a few years of non-paid job in in this startup as a founder,
Mhm.
seeing the
What
revenue is very, very, very good.
What was the hardest thing you had to go through? The hardest struggle?
I mean, the lowest time was the beginning of COVID. We the product V2 wasn't fully ready yet. We are low at fund. Manufacturers, hardware require capital to work on. The low at fund. Our team is early employees. We have few developers at the beginning. At the beginning of COVID, they don't believe in this company anymore.
Wow.
They left. So it was pretty difficult at that moment. That was the moment when I had a conversation with my wife and said, maybe we should consider wrapping up. That's, everyone closed the door. It's COVID. No one is walking on the street. No one is talking. Investors close the door. Customers, we don't know where they are. Like, our product is still not out, and fund is running low. So that was the moment where I think it was very close to, wrapping up. Until my wife, I get a lot of support from my wife. Until my wife said, maybe we should sleep with this idea. It's not gonna change anything if we make a decision right now. And then we kind of slept with that situation, and then just about a few weeks later, we had a prototype, V2 proof of concept. I showed it to one of the top real estate agent here in Seattle, and he loved the product. He's an early adopter. He has been looking for ways to disrupt the existing ecosystem, and he started to pilot our early prototype. Even though at that time it was pretty buggy, he can tolerate that. And then eventually he invested us.
Wow.
So that was the moment when we really got through the hurdle. And after that, we feel like there's nothing, nothing can be worse than that.
So during your toughest time, you're thinking about closing down, and you were still going door to door, showing your prototype, your V2 to
I try to,
customers?
whenever there's an opportunity, I talk about this product, this company.
Wow. I think that shows a lot of heart. It gives me chills.
Yeah. I mean, supporting system is very important in this journey.
100%.
100%, 100%. You need friends, you need family to support this journey. Otherwise, it's very lonely. It's very lonely. Like this journey. Like if you are not the type of person, it will cost you. So supporting system is important.
You were solo founder, or you have co-founders?
Co-founder.
You had a co-founder. Okay.
And by the way, she is also great support too. Like it's
Sure.
been like how many years now? Like we are still working together, like with whole heart. And I push very hard every day to the next level.
Yeah. I love that so much. Support system, like you said, I think it's probably the most important thing. Startup is not a one night success type of story. It's like a lot of times leading up to being visible.
Yeah.
During those long period of long nights and doubts crept in. Like it's the people around you that get you through it. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be co-founders. It could be, your family, your friends, or just people you met on the street. Sometimes they just you talk to them and suddenly you feel better.
Yeah. When I remember the moment when I sometimes I call out to customers, I ask them, hey, what's the experience? Is there anything we can do better? And they come back to me like, man, your product worked flawlessly. We're so happy about this. Like, thank you for bringing this to the world. I mean, that is the moment when I feel like, that's it, right? I give you free, right? No, but that is better than, what I'm trying to say is that is the better reward than money.
So you found the motivation in feedbacks, support system, and you found purpose in lubn.
Yeah. I would say, I'm trying to, when I was in Microsoft, I was asking myself, what is the one thing that I would spend my whole life and dedicate my my hours in for the rest of my life. And I think I found it, right? So this is something that I found a purpose. I hear that from the customers that what we're building, the time that we spend, all makes sense, right? It changed the way people live. It changed the way, in a good way, right? It changed the way people operate things. It makes their life better. We freed up more time for our customers so they can spend the time with their family. Like I wasn't able to spend more time with my family because I have to go somewhere else and manage the property on site. But now I can, right? So I think that is great. That's wonderful.
That's really awesome. So you started lubn. It was a one-off product on the market. Nothing even remotely like yours. And now I'm assuming you're still owning your own category?
Yeah, from our perspective, we are the only HIBA. I mean, we own the patent. So virtually, if you have the same idea, if you want to build it, you have to pay us license or whatnot. But right now, we are the only one on the market that has this technology.
Where do you go from here? How do you use this advantage?
That's highly confidential, but I will book my next interview with you once our next release is out.
Great. Love to hear that. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not that far away.
I appreciate your time coming on the pod. It's really inspirational to catch up with you. I'm so happy that you're in the season finale. This is the last episode of the season, and I'm so grateful you're willing to come and just talk about your experience.
I really appreciate this opportunity. Thank you for organizing this. I'd like to see more founders like you. Very friendly, welcoming. Thank you for putting this together.